Okay, here we go. We got 30 seconds for the market to open. Let's see where this thing opens. I'm gonna give it like five minutes or so for all the prices to settle in, but we'll see how this thing looks at the open here. So you can see so far the our pink line's holding up really nicely. This is nice and tight. It's not drooping. I mean, it's early on still. The prices are settling in, but at first glance, this looks beautiful. This one is a little bit of a droop there, but if we were to get over there, that would tighten up. At least in my experience, I've seen that. So the prices are still settling in. I'm just going to watch this for a few minutes here.
Order filled. Order filled. Stop filled.
Okay, let's see where we are. This market's been open for about 5 minutes now. So here's where the position's at. The prices are still kind of settling in, but we'll take a look here. They're getting closer to be what I think is realistic. So we're inside our tent. It's showing a profit of 600-ish. It's bouncing around, but I think realistically it's probably around 600. Looks like we may be kind of heading back down into the tent, which is good for us. Now, a couple of things. Let's just take a look at how I can take these off. There's different ways I can take these off, or different ways I can adjust and manage these. I'm just going to take a look at just removing the whole thing, or removing it in pieces. I'm not going to try to do any fancy adjustments on this one today because I got other trades and other things I have to do this morning. But we could take off. This is if we were to take off. Is that hedge? Here's if we were to take off this leg. Usually I like to try to get this down to like around 10-20 cents to take it off, so I'm not going to do that yet. But we could create a position like this where we have 1100, 1200 in this, on this ledge here, up to 6,000 and something up here. We still have our butterfly there. We get a little bit more risk on the downside, 320 on this ledge. So that's with that one leg removed. We do something like this where we remove this leg. Gives us a structure like this where we have 200 to 300 bucks locked in on this ledge, and then we have this ramp up. We make up to 1300 on this if we were to move up today. If we took off both, we'd have a position like this where we could get close to break even, or maybe even a little bit of profit. So it's like a levitation trade, like just barely. And we have this opportunity on either side. Let's see what else. I think we get rid of the hedge, which I'm not going to do it yet. We can get rid of this leg here, this little upside hedge. If we were to take everything off right now, it's showing that we could just leave our butterfly here. We could have a profit of 300 to 400 locked in, all the way up and all the way down, with a butterfly here like a lottery ticket, which we can make up to 5,000-ish. So I'm just going to let this sit here and work. And I'm going to go do some of the, I got to put on some of the trades and manage some of the trades. And I'll just continue to check back in here and show you where this is at. Let's look at our current position. Here's our current trade. We're moving down into that tent, which is nice. Showing a profit about 500 to 600 bucks for sleeping. Just for sleeping and having sweet dreams. You can see this is nice and tight still, so that's not an issue. If we come back down, this is a little bit more droopy than I would think, but I think that has to do with how this thing is positioned. If the price gets down towards here, this would tighten up. This kind of fluctuates depending on where price is at. I don't think it's that droopy in reality, but even if it is, we could have plenty of time to get out in here at a nice profit. All right, so I'm just going to sit here and monitor this for a bit. I'll be back. All right, everybody. It's Tuesday, August 26th, 9:30. And so here is the sleepover trade in its current position. So I basically just closed the whole trade down. And I did that about, I think it was like 45 minutes after the market closed. I've just been dealing with other stuff this morning. Otherwise, I would have gotten back on here sooner. But this will give us a chance to also just see how this position looks if we had done nothing. So this is the current position right now. So I closed the whole position down. I left one of those butterflies on just as a lottery ticket. So this trade has a locked-in profit of $495 all the way up to the moon, all the way to zero. So no matter what, we'll make at least $495 bucks. This is a guaranteed profit. There's a levitation trade at this point. But then there's this butterfly here I left on just in case, just to see if we get lucky and pin it at 64.20. And that would put us up at, oh, all right. What was that? Okay, if we pin there, we would get up to, we could make up to about 1,900 and something, $950 if we pin there, if we're lucky. But regardless, we're going to walk away with at least $495 for the sleepover trade. So let's back out of this thing and see how I close this down. Okay. So I'm just going to undo these closing positions. Let's look at our trade as if we had done nothing today. We had just left it alone. This would be our current position. So this is the trade as we left it overnight with, let's see, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 3 hours in. So if we had done nothing on the open and just come in and looked at this 3 hours after the market opened, this is where the position would be right now. So take a look at these droops we got going on, which are always good to make note of how this thing transforms throughout the day. Right now we would be able to take the position off at $156. We're in that dead zone, but we still have an okay droop, enough of a droop to get us out at a profit. That's why we want to get out early, like within the first 30 minutes to an hour, I would think, unless we're staying up in here. But I'd just rather get out and take my money. So here's the current position as if we had done nothing. Still profitable. You can see this droop here. We're still above the zero line. So that's a little surprising to me. And that may not be real. I think that if the price were to come down in this area, this would be more, it would be higher, and it wouldn't be like tweaked over to this side. See how it's kind of like over to the side there? That's a little weird. I think that may just be because we're so far away from it right now. But maybe not. Anyways, taking that account, this is just the reason why we want to take these off sooner rather than later. So that's the current position. Now let's see if I can show you how I got out of this thing in the order that I got out of it. I think the first thing, we were up in here at the open when I closed it. And that's where we were trading at. I think I took this leg off first, basically to remove all of my risk. And that trade was like that. So I took that off. I had all this, and I think this was floating higher at the time. This looks not like it looked at the time I took it off. And that's just because the way we moved, or how the SPX has moved since we took it off. Anyway, there's a locked-in profit all the way across here. The only risk is here. And at that time, this pink line was draped nicely, or bridged nicely over that. There was not that much risk at that point. But as soon as I did that, the next piece I took off was, I think it was this one, which is this. Is that right? That looks right. For 25 cents. And that gave us this position. So at this moment, this is a levitation trade. We're floating. Worst case scenario is the blue line. That's where it's going to expire at the end of the day. And you can see we have $80 locked in no matter what. No matter what's going to happen, we're going to make $80. Well, let me go back one for a second. What's cool about this one is that this little leg we bought to hedge, you can see that if we were to rip up, this could make us up to 1,300 up here just by leaving that on. So that's something to take into note. That hedge comes in handy. The little extra bump hedge we did could come in handy on a move up the following day. Okay, so let's go back to where we were at. So at this point, I took I took off this leg, the risk leg, and it gave us this position, which is a levitation trade for floating. We're making $80 no matter what. But at the time, right now, you can see that there's $483 of profit in it if I were to take this leg off and just close everything down. At the time, there was more than that. I think there was like 500, maybe 600. I'm not sure. But regardless, this is a can't lose trade at this juncture. So then the next thing I did, I think I took this leg off. Oh yeah, I did. This is the XSP element. So down here is the XSP. So I sold those out at 18, which gave us this trade. I'm just taking this off piece by piece. So at this point, we have a floating trade of $260 no matter what. It's a levitation trade. No matter what happens, we're going to make at least 260. We could make in this butterfly up to 5,000 if it pinned there. And down here, we can make up over 5,000 if it were to crash. Then the next thing I did was I must have removed this leg, which is this one. Yeah, so I sold this out for what I bought it for. So that hedge would cost me nothing. It was zero. I bought it for 10 and I sold it for 10. So I did that. It gave me this position. At this point, we're going to have $360 locked in no matter what. Levitation trade to the tune of $360. Guaranteed profit plus extra profit potential in this. And then I had 10 butterflies on and I just sold them all out. I think I bought these for 10. No, I bought them at better than that. I bought this at a credit of 50. So I got rid of 9 of them. There's a total of 10 and I left one on. So I sold them out for 15 cents each, which gave us this position. And this is our final position. So at this place, at this part of the trade, the end here, we have a total of $495 locked in no matter what. A levitation trade. Guaranteed profit of $495 all the way up, all the way down. And then we have one butterfly here left as the lottery ticket, where if it comes down here and pins at 64.20, we could make up to about $1,000, 950-ish. Or if it just moves down in here, you can see the pink line gives us extra profit potential of about $50, right? No, let's see, about $50 right now at this point. This pink line will continue to rise throughout the day, higher and higher. So if there was a run down, I could potentially make more money on this by selling out that last butterfly without having to see if we get lucky and pin. But I can make the big bucks up to $1,000, $950 to $1,000 if it pins there at 64.20. So that's the trade. That's the final. What do they call that when you like the post-mortem? The post-mortem on this trade. But isn't post-mortem like when they're dead? So I don't know if that's the right word. Because this was a good trade. This was beautiful. This is basically $500 for sleeping all night. Sleepover trade. Really no risk, no stress throughout the whole thing. One day. I'll F and take it, as my Uncle Ed used to say. All right, so that's it for this one. I'll do a video later on today where I look at that 3-day out trade test that I was doing, maybe towards the end of the day. I'll show you what I got going on right now. So for today's trade, I'm going out to tomorrow's options. I sold these four put credit spreads, which is the lower leg. So I'm legging into one of these sleepover trades on this. And this is kind of a cool idea too, that I've been trading these trades forever and I never really thought of doing it this way, which I'm sort of embarrassed about. But this can be kind of scary. I mean, this is a lot of risk for a tiny amount of credit. Like, I don't like that at all. But I want to put this leg on. This is the lower leg of the unbalanced condor. And then I put this on when my signal flashed for we're moving up. So you can see we have moved up. So now this is in the profit by $50. So it's moving our way. And then at some point here, I'll put that other part of the trade on, which will give us our broken wing condor. But with these trades, if I'm able to sit here and monitor it, in case there's a move, in case it starts to move against me, what am I going to do? That's going to kind of put me in a pickle. So what I do is I have this little shorter version of the trade sitting here ready to go. You can see I'm spanning over the 6,400 big round number, which is nice. And look at that. It just takes that risk immediately. It eliminates that risk immediately. And not only that, but it gives me this bow. The bow is already forming. So if there was a change in the market right now and we started to tick down, or we hit a point of resistance, or I thought the up move was over, I could just put this on instantly, remove that $1,800 worth of risk, and this big slope down, which is scary. I don't like that at all. But just by slapping this 3 of these on, like so, this is a beautiful trade. It's beautiful. And in this case, worst case scenario is $20. This is basically just a narrower version of our broken wing condor. And it's planted straight over the 6,400 big round number, which is nice. And then if I were to do this, you can see we have this bow already forming where I can get into profit. Check that out. If it were to move down from here, this bow is already in effect. I could make up to $100 there. And I could put on one of my little hedges here. $500 of risk is nothing compared to what it was. So I have that sitting there ready to go, and if the SPX continues to move my way, I can just expand this out, expand it out, expand it out, or just wait and see if I can just get my full 30 to 40 point unbalanced condor on at a better price than if I had tried to put the whole thing on at once. So I'm legging into it. And this looks dangerous and scary, but because of this little this is like a fire extinguisher fix. If the thing starts to move against me, I can throw this on real quick and basically just flatten the whole thing out, buy time, maybe even profit from a bow. So that's a cool realization that I've had the last couple of days, looking at legging into these. But that's not on yet, so I'm just waiting for this thing to continue to move up. I think it'll continue to move up, and then at some point throughout the day, if I want to make this wider, I can put this one on, but I'd rather have, like I said before, I want like 30 to 40 points in this tent. So at some point, I'll just put on the other half of this trade. That's not it. I always mess these up. Oh, come on. Now I screwed it all up. Let's see, 65. I want to go to 70, right? So that's not right, but let's just move it back to like 64.30. So change this to 64.35 and 64.30. So at some point here, I'll just put on the other leg of this broken wing condor. So I'm just legging into it, which will potentially give me the ability to get into this trade at a much better price, maybe even a break even if I play my cards right, get a nice wide tent, and just start off with a way better position than if I just tried to put the whole thing on at once. It's a little bit more risky, but because of what I was saying a minute ago, where I have this other trade ready to go, just slap on real quick if there's a problem. I keep screwing this up. Come on, Dan. Like that. That's wider. But I have a trade like this. I just have this ready to go. Slap on real quick to save me and reduce the risk. Meanwhile, as the SPX continues to move up, I can just keep changing these strikes, making it wider, 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 wider until I get to the width that I want at a good price. That's the theory anyway. All right, so that's it for this one. What was I going to do? I guess that's it. I don't know. I'm losing it. See you in the next one.